Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Matthew and thanks for joining me today as I try something a little bit different. Today I thought that I would share with you an investment that's caught my attention, something that I'm keen to share with you, not as financial advice but rather to seek your opinions, and you can advise me about whether you think that I'm missing something important here. So I've been interested in trading and investing for a number of years now, and I've had some successful spells, some disastrous spells, and everything in between. But I do think that as a Christian, we're compelled to make good investments and grow our wealth. That is probably a view not shared by that many Christians, but we'll briefly touch on that before we begin and before I unveil the opportunity that I want to share with you today. Okay, so let's just start this off with some of the kind of precepts that I use to influence how I manage my money. So I'm sure that you've heard this Bible quote being misquoted as that money is the root of all evil, whereas actually it's the love of money is a root of all evil. And I balance that with the teaching of Jesus in the parable of the talents, where it's clear that there's an expectation on Christians to manage what they've been given judiciously and with a view to multiplying it, to increasing it. So, and we're expected to be active in that process. And so, I find that having an interest in trading and investing is absolutely aligned with that teaching. And going back to the Old Testament, I can see that there's a principle that is applied to God's people, that, we are expected to be people who are in a position to lend but not borrow. And so, again, that really does drive, it's what motivates me to pursue this. I want to be somebody who has no debt and somebody who has sufficient wealth that it can be deployed where there is a need. So I appreciate if you're not a Christian or you're not spiritually minded, that this may have no interest to you whatsoever. But, it's just something that I feel is important to me to convey right from the outset. Okay, so what to expect from this series? Well, hopefully I'll be doing a video every week. It's not investment advice, it's just my personal reflections. I am in no way qualified to advise anybody on what they should invest their money in. These are just my reflections, and it's just a bit of fun, and it is pure entertainment, nothing beyond that. I don't use leverage, so I don't use a spread betting account. I don't use any kind of leverage. Whenever I've done that, the results have generally been worse than when I don't use leverage. So again, I probably might do a video on that in the future. So I'm focused on technical analysis and swing trading. I tend to hold positions for, maybe up to 8 weeks. I like to be out of the market as much as I'm in it, if that makes sense. And the most important reason that I'm doing this really is to hear from you. I want to know what you think about how I'm approaching the markets. I'm very much open to learning, and would really appreciate your insights if you're able to provide them. Okay, so technical first, fundamentals second. So yes, I'm a pure technical analysis guy. I love pretty charts, and I get a bit bored by the dry financials. Now, I did work in the financial industries for, a few decades. So it's not that I don't know my way around a P&L or balance sheet, but yeah, I don't know. I probably spent too much time doing that kind of stuff, and now I prefer a different approach. But also, I think that, given where valuations are, the tendency for central banks just to inflate the monetary supply, it's not that I don't trust the numbers. I'm just not sure that they kind of can be useful in terms of determining whether a stock price is going to go up or down. I think charts are a much more efficient and effective way of doing that. But with that said, I absolutely respect the fundamentals, especially where a stock's been featured by credible analysts. The way that I screen what I'm interested in is to essentially review what smarter people than me have been recommending as a buy over the last 12 to 18 months. And again, part of that is seeing price targets raised by high quality sources. And again, probably given my background, I like to ensure that, the companies that I'm looking to invest in pass basic solvency screens. So today we're looking at Silvercorp Metals that has a ticker of SVM. It's a small cap silver miner. It operates out of China, and the reason that I'm interested in it is because as I was doing my research, I saw it mentioned by multiple sources as having price targets significantly above where they currently are. And as we'll see in a minute when I open the chart, I don't think that those targets are anything like high enough. Okay, so here's the chart for Silvercorp Metals. This is on the monthly time frame. As you can see, it's had an all-time high of around $16, and it's currently trading at $4.17. So we've got a potential 4x or thereabouts if this was to be able to get back to its all-time high. Whether that is feasible or not is, up for debate. I don't know enough about the company to make that judgment, but I do know a little bit about, central banks and their tendency to inflate the money supply to try and get on top of the debt problem that most countries face. So could we see that all-time high taken out? I don't see why not, but let me know in the comments if you do know of a reason why that is highly unlikely. Looking at this on a weekly basis, you can see that I've marked out there kind of the local support. So I wouldn't be expecting this to really revisit that, and I certainly wouldn't be expecting that to break based upon what I'm seeing in the chart here. Price structure has now shifted away from the descent that we saw to making higher lows and higher highs. And also I'm really liking this huge cluster of volume that's come in the last 12 months. That to me says that there's a lot of interest in this stock. And again, just zooming out, I can't help but feel that this is getting primed for a huge run to the upside. So switching to the daily chart, you can see here that I've just added a trend line on the lower support, and then I have added a trend line connecting these two highs. The way that I'm going to play this is I'm either going to wait until price approaches this trend line before buying, or alternatively, if there's a quick turnaround and price jumps out of this area, then I'd probably buy on a breakout beyond that upper trend line. And if we just take a look at the momentum indicators that I use, I like the stock RSI and the MACD, and I have some custom settings on those that I feel just smooth the indicators out a little bit, and it just really helped me kind of have a bit more confidence that I'm trading in the direction of momentum. In this case, you can see that the signal line on both the indicators is about to cross, or has crossed, and is looking bullish. So again, it gives me kind of confidence that this is going to see a significant increase in share price. What that looks like, we have no idea. As you can see, if you look at this time frame, there was a 279% increase, but would you have held whilst it had a 74% pullback? Not if you had any sense. So how we'll manage this if we do have this kind of scenario, we'll talk about that more in a couple of months' time when we've seen how this actually plays out. But this is a
a volatile stock. You know, there's been a 46% drawdown there, 50% drawdown there. You know, this isn't something for the faint-hearted. The way that I am going to play this is when I buy, I think I will be buying for a longer term buy and holds. So I hope that you found that useful. You know, I really hope that you choose to share your opinion on Silvercorp with me. If you think that I've missed a red flag or any key insight, again, pop it in the comments. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like and do subscribe, because I will diarise a 2-month follow-up to this, and we'll see where the stock is in 2 months, and I'll let you know whether I did choose to invest and how that's gone. And aside from that, I hope that you'll join me again next week. So thanks very much for watching. Have a great week. God bless.